Hi everyone and welcome to Recipe Costing. This is Robert and today we are going to create some recipes and sub-recipes within our software. Now to get there you're going to click the Recipes tab and this will load the Recipes page. On the left hand side you're going to have a recipe, sub-recipe, and menu items. With our software you can create a sub-recipe and then call it into your recipe. So you can bring those costs over into your recipe from a sub-recipe and then you can create menu items. We'll do a separate video for menu items, but in this video we're just going to focus on the sub-recipe and recipe piece. Really simple to do. So to begin you're going to click the add button. And actually let's go to sub-recipe and click the add button. You're going to begin by giving your recipe a name. In this case we're going to create a sauce. It's going to be a base sauce that we're going to use to make macaroni and cheese. We're not making any culinary wonders here. We're just going to build something so you can get the idea. So I'm going to put it under category sauces. The price is going to be 0 for now because I don't know what this recipe is really going to cost me yet, so I'm not going to price it out. This will yield about 1 gallon. And I use this in cups. It's going to take about 10 minutes to prep and about 20 to 25 minutes to create, and it has a shelf life of 4 days. Okay, now let's begin by creating our recipe. Let's start with the first item that we need. You'll type the first few letters, and you'll notice that in typing the first few letters it'll give you a drop down of items that closely resemble those first few letters, and we're going to use butter unsalted, and we are going to use 12 ounces. And my cost is $1.56. Now notice that the software already knows that we purchase it by the pound because we put that in our food order guide, and if you haven't watched that video please watch it. In our vendor items we actually already have our pricing, so software already knows as we start building it based on our vendor item pricing how much this will cost us. So we're going to add this item, and let's keep adding the remaining items that we need for our recipe. Let's add our last item. Okay, so we can take a look here on this data grid, all the items that we've entered, their weights, their prices, the quantity we're using and how we're using it. That's what the portion by is, the cost and the cost percentage. So for example, milk is our most expensive item, and then would come butter. So you could see how all these items are playing out. And then you'll see what our portion cost is, and you'll see what the total recipe costs. So it cost me $6.64 to create 1 gallon of this item for this recipe. Now, for pricing, I'm just going to put $6.64, and the reason is I'm not really selling this recipe, so I'm kind of breaking even here. And let me just put 65, make the numbers a lot nicer. The chef is only going to spend half an hour, and I pay my chef $20, so I'm going to add it to my recipe. And again, still my recipe is $17 now, so let's say I want to change this recipe now to $17.65. It's just a small rounding issue here, but you get the idea, because I'm not really selling my recipe, I just want to know what my costs are. Now you're going to notice that there are some items here that are populating. The reason these items are populating is because I've identified some USDA food items, so now they're coming over here and they're just populating. When you actually use this nutritional facts label, you have to go in and you have to manually make the changes here. So although these numbers are here, they're just representing what the numbers are in the USDA. Doesn't mean that this is what this recipe is gonna, these are the true numbers of the recipe. So because there's still things like you have to cook it, you have to reduce it, so all of that involves chemistry and has to be taken into account when you do a nutrition fact label. But it's there so you can actually put it in there, save it for yourself, and you can keep a record of it. So I've entered that. Now I can enter my preparation and my procedures and my description. And here you can really do some nice work. So you can put your directions and you can format this any way you want. So this is the beauty of it. You can change these headings if you wanted to and make them larger, and you can change the color of your fonts. So if you wanted a different color, you can add it there, and the software will accommodate that. So you can make changes to your font size. Make it a little bit bigger. There you go. And let's delete the onion, because I know we're going to have a few people complaining that it doesn't have onion in it, and my procedures don't have it in my directions. So let's remove that. We have our cost. We have our information. Now we're going to save our sub recipe. And here you'll see the sub recipe, which is great. And whenever you want to take a look at the cost, you'll see it here, and you can even open it up and look at it again if you want to make some changes to it. Okay, we're about 5 minutes in this video, so let's stop here and I'll create another video. That way you don't have to sit through 10 minutes of video. You'll have it broken up. And in the next video, we're going to focus on building the recipe, and we're going to call our sub recipe into it. All right, so let's take a break and watch the next video. Thanks.